Hello, my name is Karl Heinz Streibich. I'm the president of Acatech, the Academy of Technical Science. I'm happy to speak to you today about taking the right steps on the digital journey on Industry 4.0 to sovereign data rooms. But first of all, I would like to introduce to you Acatech. Next one, please. Acatech is, as I said, the National Academy of Technical Science and Engineering. We are absolutely independent, self-determined. We represent science as well as the economy. That means we are an academia which has two pillars, a science pillar and, if you want, an economical pillar. Therefore, we have two presidents. We have a president for the science part, which is Herr Spath. He is the gentleman to the left of Mrs. Merkel, from Mrs. Merkel point of view, or on the right side, from our point of view, and me being on the left side. This was the introduction of myself and the farewell event of my predecessor, Professor Kagermann, who is one of the key inventors, founders, or originators of Industry 4.0. We are supported by Germany, the state, as well as all 16 federal states. And our mission is that we advise the government as well as society on the technological evolution, on innovation, on the further development of society. More than 570 members are scientific members. They are personal members of Acatech, and we have 106 senators. Those are the representatives of the companies. Next one, please. But that you know a bit more, a bit better what Acatech is, I want to also compare it to other similar academias from other countries, as for example Sweden, as the oldest one, was founded 1919, but also the National Academia of Engineering in the United States and all the others. That means this kind of technological academia is something that all major countries have who want to foster innovation on one side, and on the other side want to support the public in being able to make decisions themselves, on deciding on the technological evolution, so that the opinion is not just based on fake news or occasional news, but that there is a clear process of informing and also advising the public on what they should think and how they should deal with the new technology. Next one, please. The international activities of Acatech, you see them here in the next picture, are in the Far East. We also collaborate with Japan, with the Chinese academia, but also with the United States. And you see, we are truly global, and we are really absolutely open, to collaborate with those who want to network with us on advising society and the government on the technological innovation. Next one, please. The strategic projects of the German governments in the context of industrialization are threefold. One is Industry 4.0, with the core task of rethinking production, processes, and the workplace. There's also a second and a third one, which I will cover after Industry 4.0. The key message on that is between 2011 and 2013, this big program Industry 4.0 was developed, and we have made in Germany significant progress, but we also learned that there is a long tail of adoption. It takes a while until, not only society, but also the enterprises adopt these kind of concepts. And it is called Industry 4.0 because we believe that it really is the fourth industrial revolution. Before we called it cyber physical systems. That is a combination of digital and the real economy, the real tools in the production facilities. And we see that it has an environmental impact, it has a social impact, and it has an economic impact. The most important issue of the environmental impact is, from my point of view, that we are able to produce individual products based on a cost structure for mass production. Point one. Point two, we can produce systems. When you combine it, for example, with 3D printing, that you don't have, for example, a big block of material and shape out of that your device, your spare part or whatever, but that you only use and produce the material you need. So Industry 4.0 lives from the combination of all associated and related technologies. Key is that the production becomes highly flexible in the sense that you have a smart factory which comprises of the smart machines on one side, the smart operators, that means the fully automated operators, and which create the smart products. That means overall the smart factory, which is then embedded into smart logistics, but also smart buildings and smart grids for power supply and for telecommunication. Therefore, IoT, the Internet of Things, is a core element of Industry 4.0, because with the industrial IoT, you have all the information from the sensors, from the machines, from the system. You have the digital data there, which you then can really correlate, associate with each other, and further develop the next action based on reality, what happens now. Therefore, Industry 4.0 is a real-time system. Next one, please. The so-called Industry 4.0 Maturity Index, which we developed at Acatech, gives a tremendous guideline for all users. And with users, I mean for all adopters. We have developed the first one in 2017 and the second one in 2020. You see, it is really up to date and it is used and it's highly appreciated by German companies. It helps, the companies to give them a guideline to know where you are, where you stand. And therefore, we have defined 6 maturity stages which analyze the capabilities, the resources, the information system up to the culture and the organizational structure. And each development stage comprises of concrete additional benefits for companies because they are all an integral part of the evolution to Industry 4.0. Next one, please. And these are the 6 stages. First of all, computerization has been done in most of the companies, in all companies. The next one is connectivity. This is still an element, I think probably 20 to 30% of the machines are, are really connected to further platform which provide then Industry 4.0 related visibility, that you see what really happens on the machine. It is unbelievable. How many companies don't know what happens with their machines on the customer side? And it gives further transparency because you also have the historic data, and therefore you learn why things are happening. You suddenly understand your machine much better in real life. And the next step, stage 5, is then when you have all the historic data, you have the actual data, then you can predict the future behavior. That means being prepared. Predictive maintenance is a very popular part of that. And the next step are then autonomous systems, self-optimizing systems. But this is a maturity level which is only very, very rarely achieved today, but we prepare for the future by knowing what is our goal on that. Next one, please. And when you want to have a look at the entire context, then you see that with the Acatech Industry 4.0 Maturity Index, this is embedded into the entire flow of activities of Acatech, synchronized with the government, synchronized with the big associations in Germany. And the case studies, which we also produced in 2020, show the status quo of the companies that we have studied. The presentation, you see the presentation of the case studies, but even more important, a description of the next steps and trends that we see. Next one, please. And progress which is made is very encouraging, but there is still a long way. And why? Because the full digitization of the industry is a journey. It's not a project, by no means. It is a long journey, but which provides benefits at every single stage already. And these benefits that it provides are instrumental for further motivation to continue, because it is also a journey which is cumbersome from time to time, but it is worthwhile every single step. We found out that almost every company has already identified their needs in the context of Industry 4.0 and have started. More than 45% of the companies have not yet achieved extensive horizontal and vertical integration of their in-house system. With vertical integration, we mean from the shop floor up to management, and horizontal, we mean that it is the end, really covering the entire shop floor, for example. But almost every company thinks, how can we access the real-time data on the systems, on the machines that we have installed? They realize it requires a cultural change. And therefore, lean management programs are also running in parallel, because you suddenly realize that you don't need such a deep hierarchical structure in the organization, because the systems itself and the systems and the information provided by the system is sufficient to know what is going on. But the very good message is 80% of all companies have already taken first steps towards connecting their machine systems and obviously also the people. But 49% are still at the computerization stage in the structural area of resources. Next one, please. The key challenges in the different structural areas are that very often, due to all the proprietary systems that are installed, there are different protocols, different data models. And therefore, the quality of data is not good enough. Master data management is a key issue in this context. And from organization structure still to hierarchical, so that you cannot really make benefit out of the more or less independent or self-determined systems. And in respect of culture, we realize that there are still a lot of companies who have not yet fully involved their employees. And sometimes it's even up to the CEO who thinks that digital is a project or thinks it will pass away, the relevance. But I think especially the Corona phase showed us in a very intense way that digital is a way to remain efficient, also in times of social distancing. The key lesson learned is, instead of focusing on company-wide transformation and transform everything at a time, just look at projects which are digestible, but put them into the entire landscape of what you want to do. Next one, please. Next chart, please. When you look at the industry 4.0 maturity index, and you look at the trends that we have on the digital journey, then you realize one thing which is key. Always think end to end. They have to think as a manager has to think end to end, not only the fraction of what he is supposed to do. Then the usage of edge computing combined with cloud. There is no way that you can transfer all the data from sensors directly to the cloud outside the factory. And by the way, there is a big reluctance in doing so. And therefore, edge computing is a key. You need the edge cloud, if you want, on the factory level, that you are self-sufficient and that it's only a fraction of data which is going to the cloud. Then transforming hierarchical into agile organization. I already mentioned it. And this goes along with empowering your staff, that they shape the digital transformation and that they accept it. Next one, please. So, the task and goals of the platform Industry 4.0, which are composed, which are driven, which are supported, as I said, invented by Acatech in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and Research, but also the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Energy. And this mutual initiative that we have created and that we are driving is absolutely dependent on the execution level. That means it is theory and it remains theory as long as not the first concrete projects start on the shop floor. And for that reason, they have seen that we have to drive it not only on a country level, but also on a European level. This is the reason why we are, as Acatech, also acting on a global level in context with the Industry 4.0 activities. In Japan, it is called Society 5.0. In the US, it's called Industry, written with a Y instead of IE at the end, which is German. And they are all addressing the different sizes of company in a different way. That means the global companies are very often self-sufficient, but it is the small and mid-sized enterprises that need most guidance and most help. And therefore, it was also clear that we had to shape the regulatory environment, because with the regulatory environment is the pre-competitive collaboration the focus point. Very often, the antitrust regulation is very much limiting the pre-competitive collaboration, especially in the automobile industry in Germany. We have big issues there, but we have to overcome them, because the digital society and the digital industry is an industry for sharing. That means we have to collaborate. It is the collaboration networks that enable us in being the winners also in the digital world. There is no way that someone, can survive based on his proprietary actions and activities. It is open, it is standard based, it is collaboration based. Next one, please. Therefore, we started, as I already mentioned, a number of international cooperation initiatives as well. And they give us also experience-based input from the others, but we give them input as well. And the most important lesson learned is that the involvement of everyone in the company is the key to success. Industry 4.0 is a target, is a journey, it's a concept, it's a strategy. A lot of tools are there that the companies have the guidance, but it has to be driven from top in the company, top down, and it has to be accepted bottom up. Only this combination makes a success out of that. This is what we have seen in all the global relationships we have, in the feedback we got from other countries as well. Next one, please. So here you have a small summary of the entire context and what we have seen in the various countries. Sure, this brand and the concept has been invented by Acatech by Germany. We are extremely strong. Germany is a powerhouse in respect of industrialization. In the United States, there is a strong focus on new business models, especially on the startup sections. And in other countries, we see that it is thriving, and it is very often joined with other startup initiatives, with other innovation initiatives. It is embedded into a wider context. As in Japan, the best example, they call it Society 5.0. Next one, please. So the key for that is open standards. If everyone would remain with his proprietary system, there would be no way to succeed. Adoption of standards. And these open standards are, and this is very positive, that 72% view open standards as extremely important. So it is very often the suppliers who sing a different song when they want to be successful with their proprietary systems. But in a connected world, the interconnectivity and the compatibility is the key as such. And therefore, the highest priority is interoperability based on open standards and architectures. And therefore, the international collaboration is absolute key. Next one, please. So this is in Industry 4.0 as a concept where we are, including the maturity index. Then the next step was the smart service Welt, so smart service world. There we took Industry 4.0 and prolonged it to the business models. And why is that? Sure, you have to translate your digital transformation into business models to have the benefit out of it. Next one, please. With a smart service world, the key question we had to answer was, how are smart services created? And this is a bit a complex chart, but you see on the left side that it's from the machine to the digital platform out to the users who have the automated vertical integration of their systems. And the key targets out of that are, first of all, superior user experience. This ease of those citizen users, that you do not need the highly specified experts for everything. The machine is able to do a lot itself. But it's also the basis for distributed smart services. Through the internet, you have the infrastructure to combine services also with others, regardless where they are located. And the goal with the digital platform is obviously that for the massive data you have, that you come from the big data to smart data. That means this analysis of the data, the streaming analytics is a core element beside the data on rest, where you have a lot of data stored and you take it and you analyze it whenever you're ready. Beside that, you have the streaming analytics activities in this platform as well. So that at the end of the day, you have the smart products which are generating all these big data. Next one, please. That means business models of the digital economy are obviously based on smart services. That means when you look at this chart, then you see that the value proposition must be in the center of all thoughts, of all thinking. And out of the value proposition, you are able to create your new business model. Why? To earn money. This is the ultimate goal on being more efficient, scale better, grow with lower costs. And as you know, in digital platform, process costs are almost zero. And now imagine how many old business models are still living on high process costs. And this is a major change and a major, let's say, innovation going forward, that through digital platforms, process costs go to zero. Next one, please. And then the third major program beside Industry 4.0, Smart Service World, are the autonomous system. You remember this had been level 6 on the maturity index. And with the autonomous systems, we have to rethink social, legal, and ethical implications. We say the autonomous systems are assisting systems. They are assisting human beings in factories, in the future, on the road, with autonomous driving and other areas. But it is the ultimate goal of the digital journey. Therefore, Industry 4.0 end-to-end is from the automation of the factory up to level 6, the autonomous system. And as I said, it is by far not only a technical challenge. It is a challenge of changing behavior inside the company, but also giving the information to society of what it is, what it means, what it isn't, because the faster technology evolves, the more resistant we seem to have in a number of countries on the technology evolution because people do not understand it anymore. What do you think if you would make a survey in any country, first world, second world, third world, doesn't matter. Make a survey. What is a data room? I'm sure that the answers will be somewhat unexpected or disappointing. For that reason, we have to educate society. We are in a fundamental change. We are in a complete new wave where human beings must define a new relationship to technology. We all know, when I was born, there had been 2.5 billion people on the world. Now we have 3 times more, 7.5 billion. In less than a lifetime. And this was only possible through the efficiency increase of technology. That means our lives stand already on a high mountain of technological enablements. But we will only be possible to stabilize that, to further develop it, and solve the problems of the future, the energy crisis. Now also the pandemic crisis and others. We are only able to solve the problems of the future with technology of the future. That means we must have a continuum of innovation, and their Industry 4.0 up to autonomous systems is a major contribution of it. Next one, please. For that reason, we have also a platform lernende Systeme. That means we have artificial intelligent platform of learning systems, self-learning systems. The Ministry of Research and Education, Minister Anja Karliczek and myself are the co-heads of it. We are shaping the artificial intelligence programs for Germany. And we also have defined an artificial intelligence map where we see where we are in Germany with all the artificial intelligence activities. Then you only get what you measure. You can only improve when you know where you are. This is a very important next step, supporting autonomous systems and beyond. Next one. And this is this map. We have already illustrated more than 850 examples AI made in Germany across all industries and fields and applications. And there are practical examples from science as well as from the economic side. It's all documented and you can have access to it on the internet at any time. Next one. And when you look AI applications by technology field, then you realize that data management and data analysis obviously is a major use case of it, because this is where it all starts. But the digital eye, the digital hand, digitizing the human senses and having solution for that, which can be reused based on standard interfaces and in standard technology, is the focus area there. Therefore, you see human-machine interaction, sensor technology, robotics, but also natural language processing and virtual augmented reality, which starts now, which will be a major part of the future. That means when you see now here, data management and analysis, 50% of the examples, this will tremendously change over time as technology evolves and adoption of the technology improves as well. Next one, please. Therefore, we have also made new publications there, from data to value creation network. They are available in German, and we will also make them available in English, and they are, a prolongation of what we have breached with Industry 4.0, from data to value creation. Next one, please. One key element of that is what I mentioned before. It is always about creating networks. And therefore we have shown with every single example in this booklet how the collaboration of companies, people and institutions bring those great solutions forward. And this collaboration, believe it or not, is extremely difficult. First, large enterprises are not used to collaborate. They are self-sufficient. The small ones, they live on their monopoly, which is very often a proprietary monopoly. And both aspects are not a natural promoter of networking. Therefore, big companies and small companies, for different reasons, have to learn to collaborate. Next one, please. So, fostering access to relevant data. We are at the moment creating data rooms for the manufacturing side, for autonomous systems, in the context of smart service worlds, but even more important, we also do that for different industries. We also do it for the health space. We do it for the mobility space and other spaces. That means being sovereign and independent. I would even say independent of the big hyperscalers in respect of creating your own data spaces is key, is instrumental. And therefore, we are also pushing at the moment a big project, which I'm privileged personally to head, for the sovereign data space for mobility in Germany and Europe. And that will also be a blueprint for others. And here is also very clear that you need one data space for all three evolutionary areas for the basic Industry 4.0 automation level on the factory floor, for the smart service worlds, as well as for the autonomous systems. Next one, please. And these data spaces, which I have just mentioned, are also fully supported by the EU. And the EU, the European Community, is also pushing, and we are adapting to them. We are connecting with them, that we are already, what we do now, building a blueprint for a European extension. Then because we need the European volume, the European momentum, the European space for being competitive on a global basis. Next one. And this is one example for the sovereign data space on the mobility side, where we are combining the public transportation system on top with the private data rooms with here, and with international data spaces, we create a common level playing field for everyone, with the rules and the governance and everything which is required to have a data space that is really working and that everyone adheres to the rules. Next one, please. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we are doing in Germany. This is what Acatech is driving. Acatech, the inventor of Industry 4.0. But we know that Industry 4.0 is the beginning of the journey. It's by no means the end. It's the beginning of a big transformation. Our goal is that the leadership we have on the classical industry areas in Germany and Europe we want to use them to collaborate with other countries, also Brazil and others, to use the benefits of the digital world for every one of the 7.5 billion humans worldwide. Thank you very much.